SolidCAM 2021 we have some great enhancements to 2.5 axis milling. To start off with, let's have a look at face milling. As you can see, I have a hatching operation, and in the parameters available we have the tick box for a roll in. This allows you at the start of your toolpath to do a roll in, as we can see here. This will apply it to each and every starting point. So if you have a zigzag toolpath, you will only have it applied at one entry. If you go a one-way toolpath, it will apply it to each and every entry point, allowing for the tool to easily cut into the material at the first point of contact. Another great enhancement in SolidCAM 2021 is the flexibility we now have for lead in and lead out for profile cutting. As you can see, I have made the centerline cut along this profile, and it now gives me the option to flip the lead in and lead out arc, allowing for greater flexibility for how I want my tool to approach the job. Now, as we look into thread milling, there have been some great enhancements here too, to make it simpler and give greater flexibility. As you can see, we can now assign a number of threads to cut, as well as the thread depths just like before. We can assign a rough with a first step over, a minimal step over, and a finish allowance to be applied. We can also designate the cutting parameter of a minor diameter for external geometry. As well as this, we can do more in lead in and lead out, giving more flexibility in controlling how the tool should approach. I will start by turning off the roughing aspect of the toolpath, and we will simulate the tool. In the simulation, you can see the thread mill cuts nicely with the lead in and lead out, but what we can also do as well, if you require multi-start threads, we can do this with ease. In this example, I will set the number of starts to 3, and as we start the simulation, you can see we get multiple starts using the same parameters as before, but just with the triple start. There have been some improvements too to the turn-in operations within SolidCAM 2021. First, let's look at the enhancements to the drag and drop templates. The new addition of being able to select multiple outside surfaces enables users to determine the start and end of the turn-in operation. Simply select the first face as usual, and whilst holding Control, select the second face to determine the end of the toolpath. Using templates is a great way to improve your efficiency of programming parts inside of SolidCAM. Additionally, there have been improvements to the tricoidal turning algorithms. This helps to optimize the entire roughing procedure by producing a more suitable toolpath at the end of the stock. Let's take a look at the simulation to see this enhancement. Improvements to the Turbo HSR module of SolidCAM now offers users 3D automatic boundary definition based on 3 available options. Part silhouette is the default selection, with the area machine limited to the tool's centre, which precisely follows the shadow of the part. In the part end height, a 2D contour is determined by the part shadow and projected onto the machine in plane whilst being offset outwards by the tool radius. Finally, the tool contact boundary is determined by the tool contact point in calculating the toolpath. If we now take a look at Turbo HSM, SolidCAM 2021 now boasts the ability to offer combination operations in the form of both constant Z with linear, as well as constant Z with constant step over. Here we will look at the constant step over combination. Improvements to the calculation techniques used in defining the toolpath means the tool now contains significantly less calculation points, while still maintaining the same toolpath quality as before. A new feature to SolidCAM 2021 is the ability to apply geodesic machining strategies, which can be applied to both 3-axis and multi-axis features. Geodesic machining uses a global distance field without a fixed direction as a reference for the calculation. This enables full flexibility for calculating various pattern types whilst maintaining consistent distances between each pass of the toolpath. Within this operation there are two patterning types, which include parallel to multiple curves and morph between two curves. This type of strategy is typically used in the finishing of geometries. Both the HSS and the 5-axis simultaneous modules have also seen improvements, making the definition of toolpaths even simpler than before. Take a look at this example, where the defined edge curve appears shorter than the drive surface selected. On analysing the calculated toolpath, we can see how this would impact the machining of this feature. In SolidCAM 2021, we now have the added ability to extend the edge curve to match the longer defining feature of the selected geometry. This simple enhancement makes for a better defined toolpath, keeping consistent cutting conditions across the full face of the feature. Albeit simplistic, this is a feature which will improve the capabilities of both the HSS and the multi-axis operations within inside of SolidCAM. Another new feature inside of SolidCAM is the potential to create and define multiple guide curves, allowing you the ability to create a single toolpath for more than one region of the model. Look as we alter this already defined toolpath to account for the region on the opposite side of the model. By adding the surfaces to be machined to the already selected faces and adding the additional defining edge curve, the calculated toolpath will now look to machine the additional region of the model, as well as the area already machined through this operation. The new edge braking functionality in 2021 is now capable of automatically detecting burrs. These occur when machining parts which have straight edges or non-tangent outer surfaces. This has always been possible manually, but now through the intelligence applied in the newly available edge braking operation, the software now automatically detects these edges and proceeds with creating a deburring toolpath. The tool axis control of this toolpath can be controlled as a 3, 4, or 4+1 axis operation, as well as a 5-axis toolpath with minimal tilting or a full 5-axis strategy. Finally, we will look at the changes made to the tool management within SolidCAM. In 2021, we have seen a major upgrade to the way in which we manage tools with the introduction of the new and powerful toolkit. One of the first things to note is the new user interface and the ability to access the toolkit from the Windows Start menu without the need to open in SolidWorks and SolidCAM. On opening the toolkit, we have 3 separate options. The first of which is the tool component library, which allows you to manage all individual tool components like those typically found stocked in your machine shop. The assembly library allows you to create tools from the combination of your tool components, such as your tools, holders, adapters and extensions, as found in your tool storage and prepared for use on any CNC machine. Finally, we have the machine tools setup library, allowing you to specify the given machine of the tool library. As we take a look at the assembly library, it could not be easier to define the tool required. Simply start by selecting your tool and defining its size and cutting parameters. We can then simply add the holder and adapters required. On completion, we can review the tool setup with the preview window in the top corner of the toolkit. Furthermore, should you require the needs to change the feeds and speeds of the tool, this can be done from the icons to the side of the tool parameters. This has been a look at what's new in SolidCAM 2021, and if you would like any more information, please visit our website.